really, when I think about Vietnam and, you know, I think about in the United States, the last time the left was really relevant, the last time when the left had any sort of power and strength was when a significant faction of it, especially as we at Black Agenda Report focus on the Black movement,
Mm,
the Black left movement,
yeah,
was um, so deeply tied to what was going on to Vietnam for many different reasons. For one, Black people were the first to get sent to Vietnam, the first to
definitely.
die, and then they learned pretty quickly that the war was an imperialist war and that the same racism that they were facing in the United States, that they were facing in the military a lot of the times, discrimination on the job, um, the racism that was so endemic, the
Yeah.
violence. Then they would go to Vietnam and were asked to do that to Vietnamese people. They were asked to do that to the NLF and to kill them. And a lot of people, Muhammad Ali was the famous boxer who
Exactly.
said, they never call me the
Actual
N word.
Muhammad Ali.
But he represented something that was really big at the time, right? And Vietnam was a big part of this. So there were a lot of black GIs who were defecting. There was an American Servicemen's Union that was organizing GIs to oppose the war. There was also organizations and individuals like the Black Panther Party who were literally offering troops, literally offering members of their organizations to fight on the side of the Vietnamese. And I know you've mentioned Huey Newton's letter on your Twitter and in your past work in 1969. I believe he wrote that.
Yep.
Um, but even before that, you had someone like Robert Williams who he had to defect. He had to leave the United States. He was a leader of the Monroe chapter of the NAACP. He defected to Cuba. He had to leave. He had to go into
Mm,
exile because there was a setup saying that he kidnapped a white woman. It was an event that had been escalating. White vigilante terrorists and the police in North Carolina were targeting him and the FBI. He ran to Cuba after the revolution and then ended up in China, but in between then, he was actually broadcasting in Vietnam to black GIs saying, "Hey, do not participate in this imperialist war. You need to either fight for the other side or you need to stop what the military is doing." So there's all these connections that have gotten lost. One of my favorite things too, and I'll stop here, is you talk a lot about Ho Chi Minh, Luna, and maybe we
mm,
can start here. Ho Chi Minh
mm.
was an internationalist, and he was an internationalist pretty early in his life. He was traveling everywhere,
Yeah,
including the United States, and wrote a famous essay
yeah,
on the Ku Klux Klan and on lynching
yeah,
in 1924, where he talks
exactly.
about black people being lynched, and he goes into a very gritty and sometimes hard to read detail. I remember I was reading this in college in 2012, 13,
Mm,
and it was hard to read because he was making sure that whoever was reading this knew that in the famous quote in the beginning of the essay is that Black people are the most oppressed people in the
exactly.
human family, right? That's a
Mm,
paraphrase, but that's what he said, and then he laid it out why that was. And, we know that he met Malcolm X during this time, but he
mm,
politically, I think that was an accident, but politically, he met with, like, Marcus Garvey and really connected to the Black nationalist movement. But anyway, I just wanna jump off there to say Vietnam is really important for the movement in the United States because since Vietnam and since a lot of the world struggle has been erased, I think, from the psyche of most Americans, especially on the left, we've
yep,
seen the movement also decline, and then we see things like hostilities towards actually, socialist countries
yeah,
that are under attack from imperialism, including Vietnam, which was under sanctions for a long time, not too long ago.
yeah,
And we know that the United States is on a war footing now, and I think that we can see from the period where the Vietnam War ended till now in the United States, there's been a backward trend, and no one talks about Vietnam. So let's start here. Why is it important for US activists, leftists, Westerners in general? Why is it important to understand Vietnam in this international context, Luna? Could you help us out?
Yeah, at first I am Marxist-Leninist, I into leftist unity, the unity between like leftists, and then also internationalist. Means that like I've been for I don't know for decades. They've been like spreading propaganda like socialism never worked, something like that. But like because and they never explain why they said like it never works because like, it always got crushed by capitalism. Like Vietnam tried to follow what we believed in, and then we got like bombed to Stone Age in the 60s. So that's how hard it is. And actually, Vietnam now is still one of the rare, very rare country that's still proud to call ourselves socialist and still like growing and beating capitalism in their own games, especially in this pandemic. Like we still like remains like to be the only one country in Southeast Asia and very rare country in the world that still have like a positive growth rate in economy. It's super rare, very rare, and then we still remain like good relationship with as many countries as possible. Not like really like the DPRK or Cuba and China. It's like a very complicated situation that I'm not gonna mention here. So okay, so yeah, like, I mean like about internationalism, I believe that we all, especially leftists, we should like deprogram ourselves from propaganda and lies and distortion about socialist countries like Vietnam. That's the first very important thing, and then stop talking shit about us. I'm so tired of it, and also like giving support for us too. So like I'm also into left unity. So like I don't really want to label myself as a Marxist or anarchist because I'm into left unity. But like yeah, I would be happy, like comfortable if you call me Marxist because at least like I'm a well trained officer trained Marxist in like 16 years since I was 6 year old. It's kind of funny, huh? So yeah, and then that's why like I want Marxist Leninists and anarchists in the world to support Vietnam about on what we are doing and vice versa. I want also Vietnamese Comrades to support other revolutions in the world too. It's like it's time to end leftist infighting. I'm so tired of it. And so that's one of the most important. But like it doesn't mean like we can't criticize people, but we have to criticize them in good faith. We criticize them to help them to fix the mistake or the problem. It's not like you criticize them to feel like you're like superior, you're so smart, and they are not real leftists. You're the only one real leftist with smart ideas here.
Mhm.
It's not the thing that I want to, but yeah, supporting is very very important. So like I'm a Marxist, but I support in the anarchist movement in the USA in many aspects, especially like in the aspect like fighting against imperialism, capitalism over there, fascism, racism over there. I very very support them, and then I also support the Marxist-Leninist revolution like right in like the South American country. So yeah, something like that.